Okay, my name's Daniel.
And my name's Evan.
And we want to introduce you to a new 20-week challenge that we are undertaking. And it's called Survive or Thrive, Eat What You Grow. Basically, what we want to do is only eat what we grow on our farm for the next 20 weeks. And we've got a few rules and a bit of a criteria, so it's a genuine challenge, and so we can build up to it. So do you want to go over some of the rules?
Yeah. So the first rule is, starting at week 1, we will each receive $20. And that $20 is to spend on anything we want as far as groceries. But each week after that, it drops by $1. So at the end of the challenge, we won't have any money to spend on external items. We've got some other rules as well. So for instance, if we travel outside of 100 kilometers of our farm, we don't have to eat the produce from our farm because it's just a little bit impractical. I don't want to be dragging an esky full of different poultry, meat, etc. if I go away for the week or have to attend a conference. Then we can't eat anything that's already been processed, so we've got to start from day 1 as far as processing animals. We have unlimited inputs for the farm, so we're not going to limit what we bring onto the farm. So we can bring other animals onto the farm, we can get chicken feed, we can get grains and bring them onto the farm, so we're not going to limit those at all. We're not going to limit salt, pepper, spices or anything like that, because we might be eating a bit of a bland diet, so we want to spice that thing up. We can also hunt around the property. We do have some deer that go through, and we also have some rabbits around the place, so we can hunt around our property. And one of the other things is, we've gone through and we've got an inventory of all our animals, and we've estimated their weights, and we've got to have the same weights of animals at the end of the challenge compared to the start of the challenge. So it's got to be the same or more. So for instance, I think we've got about 660 kilos of animals on our farm. So at the end of the challenge, we have to have that same 660 kilos. So we can't just go and eat all the animals that are currently on the farm. But if we bring another animal in, that gets added on. So if we bring in a 200 kilo cow, that gets added on to that 660 kilos. At the end, we've got to have 860 kilos. I think that's it for the rules.
Yeah, so they're the rules. So we've tried to put some rules in place to give ourselves a bit of flexibility, but not give ourselves sort of an opportunity to just eat all the animals, and at the end of 20 weeks it's like we've survived but there's just no livestock left. We want to leave the farm in a position at the end of 20 weeks that we could continue it if we want to. So alright, so we've covered the rules. What do we need to cover next?
Well, we can just go over what animals we've got on the farm, just so you guys have got an idea of what we're starting with, because we have got something that's already established. So we start off with the smallest things first. We've got some eggs in an incubator that have only been in there for how long?
There's 2 lots in there. Some have been in there 7 days, others are 14 days. So about a week from now, and then 2 weeks from now, we'll probably have 2 lots of chickens hatching.
So we've got 101 eggs. Then we've got 60 baby chickens, which are about a week old now.
Yeah.
We've got some 6-week-old chickens, and there's 48 of those. We've got 32 Australorp hens, 20 Australorp roosters, 9 Isa whites, which is like a laying hen. Then we've got, I won't go through all the things, but we've got pigs, we've got a few sheep. There is some perch in the dam. We don't think they're very big though. We might find out. It depends on how hungry we get. And we've also got some meat rabbits as well, some male and female meat rabbits. Have I missed anything there?
I don't think so. Oh, we've got a few guinea fowl, but they're sort of they're hard to catch and whatever. So we'd have to be pretty hungry and a good shot with a gun or an arrow or a net. I'm not sure. So yeah, but that's pretty well everything we've got on the farm.
Yeah. So I think the next thing we've got to cover is can we actually do it, or what does it look like? So Daniel hasn't seen these figures, but I've had a look at the calorie side of things, because it's easy to go, okay, we've got all this poultry and pigs and lambs, but what does it actually look like in calories? Like, for instance, if we just eat everything we've got, which we can't because it's against the rules, would we survive? So I've done some calculations on calories, and they reckon the average man needs about 2,000 to 3,000 calories a day. So I don't know, are we average, above average, or below average?
Oh, I don't know. I think there'd probably be other people that would eat more food than me.
Okay.
But I would say average for the sake of it. Because as Evan said, I haven't seen these figures, so I'm not sure. But yeah, let's say I'm
Okay.
average.
So let's say we eat 2,500 calories of food each day. So if you total that up over the 20 weeks, there's 700,000 calories of food,
Okay.
which doesn't mean much, does it?
No, it doesn't. Okay, it's just a big number.
Yeah, but would you like to know how many calories of food we've got on farm if we process everything?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. So all I know is we've got about 660 kilos of live animals. So if you process a chicken, you're going to lose weight in when you take the feathers off and the feet and guts and whatever. So all I've got is that figure, and this is where it's a real challenge, because we're going into it going, what's it going to be? So break the news to me.
Okay, so if we went and processed everything, we would have about 750,000 calories of food. So 50,000 more. So we need 700,000, we would have
Right.
750,000.
Okay.
So we've got to produce everything that we've got, basically.
So what? Oh,
That's
wow.
just in protein. If we, obviously there's going to be different
Yeah.
vegetables and things.
So we
that
also
come
do
in
have a
mix.
vegetable garden, and not that there's a lot of produce coming out of that, but we can plant like crazy by the sounds of things.
Yeah.
So we've got 20 weeks to survive, but also, replace what we've got out there.
That's right.
So yeah, and that's why we put the rule in place that we can't just eat everything. Otherwise, we could eat everything, but that wouldn't. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm processing this live.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess it is going to be a challenge, and I'm not really sure what the intricacies of the challenge are going to look like at this stage. But one of the things we did want to do is force a bit of innovation. So I think this will actually kind of throw us in the deep end, force us to maybe think differently,
Yeah.
and hopefully develop some sort of innovative process through this as well.
Yeah, I think one of the thoughts that comes to mind, because it's a 20-week challenge, you can't grow a lot in 20 weeks. Well, sorry, you can. You can plant some things in the garden and then harvest them after 12 to 20 weeks. But if you pick up a seed pack and look on the back, a lot of it, it's going to be like 16 weeks for a lot of things. Now, beans and that might be 12 weeks. So we've got the opportunity right now to plant like crazy in the garden, but for those first few months, you're not going to see anything from it. And then we could almost go the opposite. You plant too much, and then week 20 it finishes, but then week 21, 22, 23, suddenly you're getting like the watermelons and the pumpkins and things, because we're not going to probably see them in the first 20 weeks. So part of the innovation that comes to mind for me is like, what can we produce that, what can we grow that's going to produce and turn into food quickly?
Yeah.
So we've already got some incubators on. So I think of chickens, like we've got Australorps. If you get them to about 12 weeks of age, you can process the roosters. Like you can process them smaller than that, but you're not getting a very large animal. But yeah, so I think for me, I'm going to be looking at what do we do with speed? Like what can we do that's fast? So trying to put a sheep breeding program in could be good for a 2-year challenge, but for the 20 week, it's actually not going to service us as well as what's going to be fast growing that turns to food quickly.
Yeah. And just thinking about the veggie garden as well, one of the rules that we haven't mentioned is the veggie garden we actually share with a few families, so we can't go in there and just decimate that veggie garden.
That's right.
So we're going to put a bit of a rule in place so we can only touch 20% of what's in there, else if we get hungry there might not be anything left for anybody else.
Yeah, and it's a collaboration vegetable garden, so then they won't be real happy with Evan and Daniel when they go, where's my beans? I'm like, I was hungry. It's like, nah, we can't do that.
Especially when they're watching this and they're watching us eat their beans.
not going to go down too well. So yeah, I think that's probably it. So this is just the introductory episode to go, here are the rules, this is where we're at, this is where we're starting from. So what do we say now? But let the games begin.
Let the games begin, or let the challenge begin. I'm not sure. It's probably exciting but a little bit scary at the same time, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, I know when we were sort of planning this, so one thing I want to say right up now is, like, this isn't scripted. We've put the rules in place. We've already got a farm with farm animals, but you're not watching something where it's go, oh, week 1 we're going to do this, week 3 we're going to do that, oh, week 17 we're not sure what this is going to look like. So there could be animals on this farm in so many weeks that I've never owned, or like quail come to mind, because I know quail grow quickly. I've never owned quail, so I'm thinking about that, but I might talk to someone and they go, don't do quail. I'm not sure. So because it's not scripted, it is going to make it a real life challenge, and we do have to come up with innovation to go, how are we going to do this? We know that I think we're not going to die, because we could eat all the animals and fail the challenge, but to actually eat everything, to eat only from the farm, and to leave the farm with the same amount of, I suppose, meat weight or protein. I don't have a clear roadmap, and that's what you're seeing. You're going to see us over the next 20 weeks to go, how do we see us doing this working out? Because as Evan said, he's looked up the calories, I haven't, so I didn't know what this was going to look like, and we thought, let's take you on the journey from day one. So here we are.
Yeah, so the big question is, are we just going to survive, or are we going to thrive?
All right. Stay tuned.